Good morning, friends. I'm Manoj Kumar, GM HRMS Chris. HRMS team is before you again with a new module. The module is about issuance of office order. We are covering all type of office order which is there in any employee's career. So we are covering it like career events. The advantage would be that all office order is to be issued through this particular module. And after issuance of office order, data will automatically get updated in our HRMS and iPass. So event would be issuance of office order, whereas the trigger for updation of data would be joining date of the employee or relieving or releasing date from previous place of posting of the employee. And once that date is entered, all data is updated in the system. So whenever you are entering data for all different type of career events, that whether that may be promotion, transfer, exit, or entry, so all those data automatically will get updated, and henceforth data will not have to be entered manually into the system. In case of officers, we have tried to make complete service card online. So what we have done, we have introduced two different tabs. One related to updation of leave taken, and second is related to issuance of all type of order which are covered into miscellaneous office order. Please remember those two are not part of employee service record right now. It's only meant for officers. So friends, now we will give you basic presentation where we will show you the flow, event, triggers, and then Pradeep Rawal, SP, Chris will take you on the actual system, will show you the complete flow, how it will work on HRMS system. So here we are with our small presentation first.
So we will start with orders for different type of orders. We'll talk of how they are to be issued, how they are to be treated as an event, and then what will be the trigger for transferring the data. So coming to the orders, these are the four type of carrier events which we are capturing. Number one would be first appointment. Do remember that we are not capturing offer appointment here. We start from the place where we give our employee his first place of posting. Order where you mention his first place of posting. Then we go for his transfer order. All type of transfer order has been covered here, whether it be transfer within the same unit, interdivisional, inter-railway, or somebody going out on deputation or ex-career is also covered here. Then comes the promotion orders, promotion where you promote a person regular with Hawk or MSCP accreditation, all three are covered here. And then exit due to superannuation or any other events. When a person leaves the system, whether it be resignation, voluntary retirement, or his separation in terms of superannuation or an EDR case, whatever that might be. We will see how this is to be treated as event and how a trigger is to be used in terms of updation of our data. So these four type of events we have talked of, career events. These are events, whether it's first appointment, promotion, transfer, or exit. Last three events when we talk of transfer, posting, and exit, then from where the person is transferred, adapters triggered is his date of leaving the place, whether it be relinquishing, whether it be release report, whether it be a combined report where a new person joins and somebody handing over, taking over report, what we call off. So when you get that date and that date is entered in the system, that's the trigger for updation of our data of employee master in ESR. Now, when the person is released from one place and is going to report at next place, again, their office order is issued. Similarly, in case of first appointment, office order is to be issued, and after that office order, a joining report he gives. He joins at a place. So that gives me a joining date. When that date is entered into the system again, our employee master in ESR gets updated. So left-hand side, we are having all the events, and then in mid, we are having the trigger, which ensures that data is updated, as mentioned on the right-hand side. So we'll just see how a common office order is to be created. We are having a look at the joining order of a new person. So our dealing clerk will enter into the system, HRMS URL, all of you are aware of. Every dealing clerk has his own password and ID through which he will enter into the system. Then he will fill in the office number, its date, type of order. He will fill in number of people who are going to join, 1, 2, 3, 4. How many number of people are there in an order? All those are to be entered. And then if he wants to add more numbering of people into that, he will go into reiteration. Once that addition is complete, he will pick up templates. Templates means pre-prepared lines which is supposed to interact with approval or computer authority is already being issued, or at the end when we write that if he wants to give any option for fixation, all those things can be written in pre-order or note or post note, which he can keep as a saved template and use it whenever he wishes. Once he's sure that everything which is to be written in order is written, the same is to be submitted. And then through OTP, which is received through SMS on a registered mobile, it is submitted and sent off. We will see a common office order, how it looks. We have at top left QR code. In QR code, basic detail of employee is mentioned along with the order number. So you get the basic idea of what is written there. And no overwriting or correction can be made. Then you have office order, which is a local office order of the place. Then you have which office is issuing the order is mentioned there in top right. Then we are having pre-note in which you mentioned these things can be kept in your library, can be used as per your choice. Below that is employee detail. We'll talk about it later on. We'll talk of post note first. Post note again is something which you keep in as your template, and you can use it. Then issued by the officer's name is there and signature will mention. Left bottom is copy to. We are also giving provision of HRMS ID here so that all those orders can be given to those people on their own ID. That we are making provision of. And in between, you are having employee detail, which is our basic data. It goes into the database of the employee. Here, name of the employee and its HRMS ID is mentioned. Designation of the person is there. Existing particular, from where he is being shifted or he is being transferred. So then you are having a station name, pay level, basic pay, bill unit, and then revised particular where he is being sent. So all those things are mentioned. Maybe in any particular order, only existing particular will be there for new joining, or in case of exit, only existing particular will be there. Whereas in transfer, both those things would be issued. All of them may not always be available, but as for availability, these columns are to be filled in. We are mentioning type of order, and then if the clerk has to write any remark, he writes the same remark. So that's how the basic structure of our office order module is. And then now we will be discussing those modules in separate part. So now we'll come to the first appointment. First appointment can be of three types. One is direct recruitment without training. Second one is probationer or training. And third is substitute. In case of direct recruit without training, the flow would be this. The person reports at your end. This is the event. He joins at the place. You mention the joining date, trigger, and data is updated to both HRMS and iPass. Let's see how it goes. It's a normal procedure of HRMS where we are having 3-stage procedure. Dealing clerk makes the initial orders, gives it to verifying authority, and accepting authority with its digital signature, signs it. After his signature, once the order is issued and once the person joins at the place of posting, so joining date is communicated back to the system. That joining date is to be entered by dealing clerk into the system, verifying authority verifies it, accepting authority accepts it. And then data of HRMS and iPass both are updated. That's the place where HRMS ID is given to the employee when the data is entered. And subsequently, iPass gives in PAN number or whatever other ID is to be given there. In case of probationer or trainee, this is two-stage procedure. First stage is where he joins the training, and second stage is where he joins after training on regular post. So again, process, if we see it is a 3-stage process, DC, VA, and A. First stage where he is to be sent for training, order is to be issued. And then he joins at his place of training. It may be JTA, RI. For officers, it might be Nair or Masuri, whatever the date would be. If we are issuing the order for the same, or else we will be simply taking those orders in our account. So then date is once available to us, we DC, V, and A through the date is mentioned, and our data is updated. That's how it goes. After training, regular posting is to be done. Again, that same 3-stage procedure, DC, VA, A. The person joins, reports after training, and if is successful, his regular posting order is issued, and that posting order is to be issued by 3-stage procedure. And when he joins at the place of posting, again, that is to be updated, and that joining date once is updated, the data in HRMS and iPass both is updated. That completes the procedure. Then we come to substitute. Substitute has three-stage procedure. First would be engagement, second would be temporary status, and third would be joining at regular post. Now, all of them are individually three-stage procedure. DCBA, offer of appointment is given, and then person report to us after his offer of engagement. Then draft office order is prepared by dealing clerk, has to send to VA, and A approves and signs with digital sign, and then office order is issued. And then joining date is to be given, which is again three-stage DCBA, and then data is updated. Temporary status generally is given after 4 months. So temporary status order is to be issued by DCBA. At some place, joining date is also communicated. At most of the places, joining date is not communicated. It's merely completion of a 4-month period. So that date is to be entered by dealing clerk, and our data gets updated. The person is now having temporary status in our system. After completion of the period, whichever is there, generally it's 3 years for DADK and whatever other type of substitutes are there, whatever be the period, after completion of that period, the person is posted as a regular employee. Whenever that regular employee posting is to be done, again, his order is to be issued, his or her order is to be issued by dealing clerk, verifying authority and accepting authority. And when he joins at the place, then again, three-stage procedure, the joining date is to be entered. And then our data is updated both at HRMS level and IPAS level. Now we'll come to exit. Exit, which can take place because of superannuation or retirement or resignation. Coming to the process flow, it's a three-stage procedure. First stage is when you issue the order. In case of superannuation, generally a list is issued 6 to 8 months prior to the retirement of the person. So you issue the order with the date that the person is going to retire from so and so date, with approval of competent authority. Accepting authority signs on the order and it is issued. When the person is released, then his date is to be mentioned and data gets updated. The person is no more part of your system. So that's how superannuation takes place. And data is shifted from our main database to temporary database, where it is kept for keep virtually. That's all as far as exit is concerned. Thank you.
Will be there. So we are going to create one office order for new joining direct posting. So I'll go to my dealing clerk. So for example purpose, I have a dealing clerk from Jodhpur workshop. So I'm going to log in with his ID. And this is very obvious. To log in with his ID, I need to have his login OTP, correct? So I'm just entering his login OTP. Once it is validated, it will show us dashboard for the dealing clerk. So this is the dashboard of the dealing clerk, normal dashboard. All the dealing clerks have experience of this. This is the DO HYS Sanjay Kumar Singh, Office Superintendent of Jodhpur Workshop. So let's start. For any kind of office order, we have a section office order in the left hand side. We will go to that section. For new joining office order, I'll click new joining office order. This is the first attempt of office order. Once it is done, for regularization or temporary status, we use regular posting office order. That is the second part. The first part we are going to do is new joining office order. So once new joining office order is clicked, it will show me all the office orders that are pending with this dealing clerk Sanjay Kumar Singh, or I can create a new joining office order. So I need to give the office order number. And this is very obvious. This formula is open for all units according to their local formula, so they can use it. Now I clicked on the go button, so the office order form is open for me. So what I can select here is type of office order. It is a regular posting, it is a trainee or probationers or a substitute. So for example, I'm selecting regular posting. In the center, we have options to add employees or new entrants to the office order. In the bottom area, there is an option to add templates. So I'm just selecting new regular joining template. So whatever the information we have saved in templates will be shown here. So this is my template. I have still right to modify this. I can change it anytime. So you have this flexibility to edit this. So I'm just modifying some information. So now once it is done, I have a two option at the end. Either I can submit this information or I can save it as a draft copy. So I click the save as a draft copy is saved there. So now the important thing is we need to add new employees, new entrants in that part. So in the right hand side, you can see there is a plus button. Once I click the plus button, it will open a small form for me that will allow me to complete entry of the employee. So at this stage, any new entrants don't have IPAS number, you don't have any HRMS ID. So at this stage, we are going to identify that particular employee with their PAN number. So I'm just entering one PAN number here. So the only thing you need to take care is if you enter a PAN number, the system will validate this PAN number with all existing record, all 12,50,000 records that we have in our database. It will match this PAN number with everything. So if the PAN number is already there, it will stop you from the entry. So I need to enter fresh PAN number. Then I need to enter the rest of the information like its name, employee name. I'm entering just a dummy name, its date of birth, exactly his father's name, mother's name, Aadhaar number. Exactly in the same way the PAN number was validated, Aadhaar number will also be validated in the system. So if this Aadhaar number already exists in the system will not allow you. So let's try with some Aadhaar number other than this. Now it's okay. Let's move ahead with other information. I need to put community here, educational qualification. I need to upload employee's photograph and signature. So I'm uploading just a dummy photograph and dummy signature. So they are going to upload till we move ahead with other information. Now I need to enter the date of appointment of the new entrant. Then mode of appointment, we have listed out all the possible mode of appointment here. So you need to select whatever the mode of appointment is. Then zone, division, bill unit and station we need to enter. So default, the employee who is logged in, default information of their DC is already there, or we can change it. So I'm just changing it, and according to zone and division, the list of bill units are shown here. So to avoid wrong entry, we are given a drop down box. Then station of working, initial station, and pay commission, pay scale. According to this pay scale, I need to enter basic pay. So whatever the basic pay is there, I need to enter. Then for trainees, we need to enter stipend. For regular posting, we need to enter basic pay. Then initial appointment, in which department the employee is appointed, sub department, and designation according to that. Then effective date of this office order I need to enter. Again, every new entrance in the system has gone through a medical examination. So here we need to enter the medical certificate number, medical classification date. So we have all the medical classification here, A1, A2, A3. I need to enter that. Is he physically handicapped? Yes or no? Identification marks. Second identification mark. Then RRB name, by which RRB the employee has been recruited, and merit number of that RRB. And if this employee is joined against CGA, compensation ground, then I need to enter X HRMS ID of previous employee. So once that information is done, I need to put a remarks. So once this information is done, and I click on save button here, so this will validate all the information. So when I click here, it will validate all the information. If any information is wrong, it will block me here. Like I have not given the age correct. So it is asking me to enter the age greater than 18 years. That is minimum entry to the system. So I've done that and I click on save. So once this information is done, I can add more employee. To add more employee, I just need to click plus button given here. If I click this plus button, it will open again the new window and I can add second employee. Now I need to remove someone, I need to click minus button. So this is all from this side. My office order is composed completely. I need to submit this. And again, to submit this office order, I need a transaction OTP for my dealing clerk. So I'm just putting transaction OTP here. So once transaction OTP is done, this office order is now forwarded to my level 2 office, level 2 authority. So this part is done, dealing clerk entry is part done. Now we are move to second level. So second level, I need to come out of my dealing clerk and I'll get back with my verification authorities ID. So this is my verification authorities ID. I just logged in with this ID, password and OTP. So this is the dashboard of my verification authority. And again, to verify any office order, I'll go back to office order section. And it is a new joining case. So I'll click verify new joining office order. I just clicked it. And I'll select the office order that is pending with this verification authority. I click that and all the information that I entered by DC are in read-only mode. The status is submitted for verification, regular appointment, employee information is there. I want to view more. I just click this view button. When I click this view button, it will open a window again and I can review all the information. If I can view the photograph, I can view signature, so everything is there. And now verification authority have again two options. It is exactly like employee master. The flow is exactly similar to employee master, where DC, VA, and A have three types of role. So I can either verify this information or I can return it to dealing clerk if I need some modification in that. So I'm just verifying this information. And to verify this information, I need to enter transaction OTP. And this is done. With my transaction OTP, this information is now forwarded to my level 3 officer, that is accepting authority. So I'll come out with my verification authority and I'll log in again with my accepting authority. For that, I require a login OTP from AA. So I'm in the dashboard. So here again, we'll go to the same section, office order section, and the menu will be this time. Yeah, the menu will be accept new joining office order. So the process will be similar to other office orders. Now all the pending lists are here. I'll select whatever I want to approve and click go. So again, exactly similar to verification authority, all the information is in read mode, only mode, and status is verified. So here, accepting authority will accept this information and issue this order just by signing it digitally. So I'm just accepting this information, accepted, and I'll click view and accept digital sign. So once I click this, at this location, it will just preview me the office order format. So this is my office order format that is going to print, and I'll sign it digitally. So to sign it digitally, there is a button called digital sign. I click on yes button. And I sign it digitally. To sign it digitally, I just need to enter credentials of my digital certificate. So I'll just enter my digital sign certificate password. The one thing you have to be confirmed here is, if you have not changed your password for digital signature after issuing of the device, you have to change it at least one, because we are not allowing default password. We are not allowing default password that comes with the device. So at least you have to change it once. Now I'll click digital signed document, and my document is signed here. So my copy is signed here, and I'll click OK. It will again show me the signed copy of office order. So I'll just verify what is the information available in my office order. I have a QR code in the left hand side. Once I scan this QR code with my mobile number, I'll get a link, and with the help of that link, I can verify the office order. Then in the right hand side, I have office of issuing authority. Then I have office order number, pre-note and post-note as entered by DC. Then in the center box, we have employee information. So let's check what information is there. We have the name of employee, Kamlesh Kumar, his category and date of birth, medical certificate number, category, PAN number, appointment related detail. We have his department designation and pay related detail, his unit, his bill unit. Then we have identification marks, what we are entered at the time of composition. Then with effect from date, mode of appointment detail, and in the rightmost side we have photograph of employee and signature that we uploaded here. So here comes the end of our first stage. The first stage is completed here. So now we'll move to second stage. So in the second stage, when employee report to the desired location and you got the confirmation that employee has been joined, so we are going to capture his joining information at the second stage. So I'm just closing this office order, and I'll come back with my dealing clerk ID. So let's go. This is again my same dealing clerk ID I'm using, and this is his login OTP. So now this dealing clerk will capture the information of joining. So to capture the information after execution of an office order, we'll go to always carrier event update. So once an office order is issued, in the second stage, this office order is executed, then information of that execution will be captured always in carrier event update section. So we'll go to that section, we'll click new joinee entry. So here is the list of all employees that are pending to join. Office order of these employees have been issued, but now they are pending to join here. So I'm just selecting the same employee we have created right now. And I've already told you that till this stage, we don't have HRMS ID or IPAS number. So we are actually identifying our employee with his PAN number. So I'm selected the PAN number and click on the go. So whatever information that we have entered, all the information that we have entered till office order will be here. Like we have entered PAN number, we have entered first name, date of birth, father's name, Aadhaar number, mother's name, photograph, signature, office order against which this employee is joining. So every information are there. So I just need to fit in all the remaining information. So the most important thing is his bank detail, because these information will be now passed to IPAS for salary creation. Name as per bank, bank account number, then IFSC code, and a cancelled copy of checkbook. So I'm just uploading a dummy file here just for the reference. So this is the important information, bank detail we have to enter. Now I'll check what else I can enter here. Like I have Kamlesh, I can put his middle name, last name, his gender, birthplace I can enter here. We go to blood group, I can enter the blood group. I can upload his PAN number, PAN card copy, I can upload date of birth proof, whatever the information I am having, I can upload it here. If in case the bill unit is changed, I can update the bill unit also. Date of next increment, this is very compulsory and this will be required by IPAS. So we have to enter the date of next increment, office or section. In which section this employee is going to be part of gazetted, non-gazetted. Then can enter previous service is counted or not applicable. We can enter here. And now we have a mapping of IPAS designation and HRMS designation. So most of the designations are already mapped. In case if we have a differentiation between IPAS designation and HRMS designation, then you will get a list of designations that are related to the similar designation. So right now we have only one case, one designation, so we'll just select it. So I think my most of the information is gone, correct? I'll just click submit. And this information will be forwarded to second level. So this information is passed on from dealing clerk. Dealing clerk has recorded all the information. Data entry part is completed. On the second level, the same information will be verified. So let's move to second level authority, that is verification authority. So I'll come out with my dealing clerk and get back to my verification authority. So here I logged in with my verification authority and I need an OTP. So now the dealing clerk has captured the joining information of employee and verification authority will verify the joining information. So we come to career event update because the information we are capturing is after execution of office order. We'll go to verify new joining. So here it is. The employee that we have just entered the information with the dealing clerk is available here. I'll click that and click on go. So all the information are here in the read only mode. Status is submitted for verification. You can just notice here that IPAS ID is blank and HRMS ID is blank. So we are not yet generated both the information. And the rest of the information are here to validation. I can view the photograph that was created at the time of office order and signature. Again, we uploaded at the time of office order. A copy of office order is here for verification. So I can just validate against which office order this employee is joining here. Correct? So if all the information found okay, I'll just verify this information. Or in a similar way, I have an option to return also. So I'm giving my transaction OTP of this VA and the information is now verified successfully. So here the level 2 officer part is done. We move to level 3 officer. Level 3 officer is who? The one is accepting this information. So let's come out with my VA and we'll go back to AA. My accepting authority is Basant Singh Ji, again from Jodhpur workshop. So for that I need a login OTP. Here it is. Now my OTP is validated and I entered in the dashboard of accepting authority. So in the left hand side section, there is the career event update. We'll go to accept new joining option. So when I click accept new joining option, it will show me the same UI of accepting this information. So we have pending 2 employees. The data is about to accept and the same employee Kamlesh Kumar. We have just verified the information. I'll click go. So status is verified. Again, HMS ID, IPAS number is not present yet. I can validate all the other information. His office order against which he is joining. And if everything is okay, I'll come down and accept this information. So here we don't need any digital certificate because we are not issuing any office order. We are just capturing the information and accepting this. So at this particular point of time, when I enter this transaction OTP of accepting authority, what we are going to do in the background, let's take a look on that. Data is updated in employee master. Whatever the employee has joined, his data will be updated in the employee master. A new employee master will be opened and the data in the service record will be updated. So I think initial appointment tab of this employee will be recorded there. And once this data is again accepted, it will transfer it to IPAS. So iPass will use this information for salary generation purpose. So initial for a few months, iPass may take it as a task data. So you may have to enter the data at employee master also and iPass also. Once this process is smoothened, we'll get the iPass number from iPass and we'll put the iPass ID to our employee master database. So let's move ahead. Now we have to verify this employee has been generated an HRMS ID and we are going to see his employee master record. So I'll come out with my accepting authority and I'm logged in again with my dealing clerk. So I'll go to this time career event update. We have a new option here, new joining report. So this is a kind of MIS report where we will show all the employees who have joined at your location recently. So here we have the list of employees. We have HRMS ID, PAN number, appointment date, and all the information regarding to that. And if the office or if the employee current information is not accepted yet, if the information is not accepted yet, then accepting authority ID will be blank here. So wherever you find that accepting authority ID is blank, HRMS ID for that particular employee is not generated yet. So once the accepting authority accept the current career event update, will create an HRMS ID. So let's see what is HRMS ID for Kamlesh Kumar. We have just created one, the Kamlesh Kumar. So here it is the HRMS ID is GOIEEZZ. With the help of this HRMS ID, we are going to view his employee master. Sorry. I'll just click employee master, new employee. And I'll put HRMS ID here. So till now we have created HRMS ID only. iPass number is still not we have got. So iPass employee ID is still we are using exactly the same HRMS ID. So once iPass will validate this information, iPass will return us iPass number of this employee. So once we got the iPass number, we are going to update it at this location in the background. So let's see what information we have. We have employee name here, Aadhaar number, first name, last name, father's name, mother's name, PAN number, blood group. All the information that we have entered are here. In personal information, we have employee's photograph that we uploaded at the time of office order generation. We have signature copy. We have identification marks number 1, number 2. In current information, we have his zone, division, unit, station place. We have its pay related and detail, pay level, department designation. We'll go to medical, then we have medical certificate number, medical classification. So whatever information we have fed at the time of office order generation are now the part of my employee master. So employee master record for this employee is created. Let's move to ESR now. In e-service record, we'll put the same HRMS ID. So initial appointment tab. So this is the all information of at the time of appointment. The initial appointment tab, we have complete information here. Date of appointment, pay related details, designation, office, section, previous service. So all the information are now previous initial appointment detail is now in accepted mode because we have accepted this information from the 3 levels BC, V and A. The current information. So career event update is now gone through the 3 layers and is validated now. So we have this information as accepted state. So this is all from office order module of new joining appointment. Now the next category is we have done it for direct recruit. The next category is probationers and substitute. So process will be exactly the same. In probationers, we'll create the same office order from office order section, new joining office order, and the same process will repeat. For second stage, once this office order is generated, employee probation time is completed or employees training is completed, they will come back, then we'll issue a regularization office order. The process will be the same, regularization and posting order. And the data will be captured in career event part In case of regularization, we'll use the same menu of promotion, transfer, and regularization. For third case, substitute case, we have the same process repeated in 3 times. So this is all from new joining office order. Let's move to another type of office order. In this section, we are going to create some office orders for exit of an employee from the railway system. The reason of exit may be the superannuation or some other reason, maybe death, voluntary retirement, technical resignation, or anything else. So this office order will have again 2-stage process. In the first stage, we are going to create an office order, and in the second stage will capture the information after the execution of office order. So for the first stage, there are 3 levels. First level, DC will enter the office order detail, compose the office order, and submit it to verification authority. So level 2 officer will verify all this information and submit it to the accepting authority. And the level 3 officer, the accepting authority, will approve the data, validate it, and issue the office order using digital signature. So this is the stage 1. In the second stage, we are going to capture the information after execution of office order. So the first stage, we can issue the office order in the advance for the next 6 months, but at the time of stage 2, the actual exit date has been passed and this information will be captured at the time. So when the DC will capture the information, verification authority will verify this information, and accepting authority will accept this information. So once this data is accepted by accepting authority, we are going to close the employee master and e-service record for the particular employee. That's why we have to make sure that this information is captured only after the actual exit date of employee. And this information will be passed on to the iPass for salary generation purpose. So let's take a practical example. So to take it up on practical, I just need to log in with my dealing clerk. So I'm going with my dealing clerk, that is Sanjay Kumar Singh, belongs to Jodhpur workshop. I need a login OTP for him. So I'm just getting the login OTP and I just logged in. So to create an exit office order, I'll go to left hand side, office order menu, and click on exit office order generation. So once you click the exit office order generation, UI to enter the office order detail will open. So I have 2 options here. Either I can create new office order or I can change the older one. I can edit the older one. So I'm just putting exit. Whatever the formula of my office order number, I can just enter that and click on go. So now I have to select office order type. Either employee can retire or he can have other type of exit. The only difference in both the type is in superannuation, multiple people are allowed, but for other type of exit, only one person at a time will be part of the office order. So I'll just select superannuation here, and to add employee, I'll go to right hand side, click on this plus button. When I click up the plus button, the small UI for data entry will open here, and I need to enter the HRMS ID or iPass number of exit going employee. So I just click and put the HRMS ID here and click on the go button. When I click on the go button, the basic details of employee like his father's name, spouse name, designation, department, bill unit, everything is here. Now I need to enter the detail below is activity subtype is superannuation. In other cases, I'll get a list of different type of reasons. That could be voluntary retirement, technical resignation, dismissal, death cases. All the lists will be available here. So at the view of data entry, effective from date is already available here. It will be shown here. Railway quarters, employee is retaining his quarter or not. I have to select. Is any DA case or vigilance case is pending with him? Yes or no, I need to select. For cases of death, I need to enter the date of death and the person who informed me and the date of information. In case of technical resignation, I need to enter the letter number or letter date if any available. Then at the end, I need to enter the remarks. So I'm just putting a dummy remarks and click on save button. So all this information has been submitted here. At the center of the table, there are information of employees available here. Now at the bottom, I need to select the template. So in the previous videos, we have created some templates. I'm creating just dummy template selected here. and I have a right to change it. So I'm just changing some information here. So once this information is submitted, I'll come down. Here it is the list of copy to all the officers. The copy of this office order will be sent. And at the end, we have a new feature that is called copy to from the system. So whoever I want to send the copy, I just put his HRMS ID here and hit tab. So this officer will get the copy of this office order within the system. When he logged in, he can view the list of office orders in his dashboard. I can add more officers here or I can remove. So now I need to either submit this office order or I can copy as a draft. So I'll just click copy as a draft, then a draft copy of this office order is saved. The another option I have is view office order. When I click the view office order, I'll get the preview of this kind of office order. So I can just click anywhere where I want to show this signature. And now I will submit this office order. To submit this office order, I'll definitely need an transaction OTP here. So I just put the transaction OTP and hit the submit button. So now this office order is submitted. So my first part of stage 1 is cleared here. So my office order is composed. Now I'll move to level 2 officer where I will verify this information. So I just need to log out with my DC and come again with my verification authority. So I'm just logging in with my verification authority. And this is very obvious. I'll need his login OTP. So to verify this office order, I'll go to office order section, verify, exit office order. And all the office orders that are pending with this verification authority will be listed down here. I selected one and click on the go. So the status of this office order is submitted for verification. Order type is this, office order date is this, and all the information I have here. So now I have again two options here. Either I can verify this office order or I can return it to DC for rectification. So I'm just clicking verify button so I can send it to level 3 officer. For that I need to enter my transaction OTP. Now this office order has been submitted to level 3 officer, that is accepting officer. Now accepting officer will approve this information. So I come out with my VA and log in again with my accepting officer. So I'm just getting into with his login OTP. So to accept an office order, I'll go to office order section, accept, exit office order, select whatever office order pending with me and click on the go. The status is now verified. All the information I have in read-only mode. I cannot modify it. To view the complete information of employee, I have a button view here. So I'll click on the button and all the information I can review. So I just accepting this information. I have to click view, accept by digital sign. There is a preview of my office order, how it will be look. I can just validate whatever the information are there are printed properly. And to sign it, I have to click sign digital and yes. Now I have to enter the information of my digital signature. I entered my token name, certificate name and my password. So here one thing we have to be sure that once this office order is issued, I have changed my default password. For security reason, we are not allowing default password here. So I click on digital sign and my PDF has been signed successfully. I just click OK to validate whatever the information is in my office order. So this is the office order that I have generated. So I just zoom it so we can validate whatever information is there. We have a QR code, we have office order number, we have issuing office, we have pre-note, we have post-note, and in the center we have information of employee. We have the name of employee, his HMS ID, IPAS number, department, designation, and bill unit. Then we have his basic pay related detail, date of birth, date of appointment, reason of exit, and date of actual exit. So all this information we have. At the bottom we have copy to list and the name of issuing officer and his digital signature. So all this information we have. Now for the next stage, we have to move out. For the next stage, we have to enter again with my dealing clerk. So for the next stage, we have to capture the information at the time of actual exit of employee. So when the day the employee is actually retiring, I have to capture this information just after that day. So let's go to that. I log out with my accepting authority and log in again with my dealing clerk. So my dealing clerk is the same. So I just logged in with my dealing clerk of Jodhpur workshop, Sanjay Kumar Singh. Now this office order is actually executed. So at the time of execution or thereafter, we need to complete this task. So we have to go to carrier event update, exit reporting section, and we need to put the HRMS ID of employee who is going out of the system. So I'm just putting one ID just for reference. Now the basic information of this employee is shown here and date of retirement is this. Below we have office order information. So we have office order number, office order date, date of succession, type of exit, and office order copy. So I just can re-verify the exit of this actual employee is entered on correct date. So to just verify, I need to validate the date of retirement from office order. So all this part is done. The only important thing we need to take care here is the user role. If user is assigned any kind of role in the system, then it will be displayed here in the list. So we need to take care that this role has been taken out from that employee or at least transferred to someone else before marking this exit. Because once this marking is accepted for exit, the login credentials of this employee master and ESR will be closed down. So this employee will not be able to log in. So let's move ahead. From the data entry perspective, we don't have anything to enter here. So I just mark it as a release in the remark section and provide my transaction OTP of dealing clerk. So my level 1 officer's task is completed here. So now dealing clerk exit reporting is completed. We'll go to level 2, that is verification authority, and that will verify the information. So I'm coming out of my DC ID and log in again with my VA ID. And again, I need the login OTP of Mahesh Singh Rathore. So for this part, we have to go to carrier event update section, verify exit reporting, and it will show me a list of all the employees that are pending with me. So I just selected the same one, Mahendra Sharma, and click on the go. Now all the information are here in read-only mode. Again, I have two options. Either I can verify this information or I can return it to dealing clerk. So if the entry is done on the wrong date, we can return it. But for example, I'm just verifying this information. And to verify this information, I'll require transaction OTP for this particular officer. So now this information is captured and submitted for level 3 officer. So that is accepting authority. So I'll come out with my VA and log in back with my accepting authority here. So this is login ID, password, and OTP. So now we'll go to again carrier event section, accept exit reporting. We'll select the employee, the same employee, Mahendra Sharma, and click on go. So process is exactly same. The status is still now is verified. The basic information is here. I can validate the role. I can validate the office order, which office order is issued for this employee for retirement. So if the information according to office order is found okay, then we are going to accept this information. And here, to accept this information will not require any digital signature because we are not going to sign any document here. So we just need a transaction OTP. And after submitting this transaction OTP, my remarks for this employee is submitted, and this employee is now marked as retired employee, and his employee master may be closed, its ESR is closed, and the same information is passed on to iPass for salary related transactions to be happen on next salary cycle. So this is all from exit reporting and exit office orders. Thank you very much. Thank you again. Bye bye. Have a nice day.